So let's get started anyway. So morning, I'm Rianne. My business is called Type on Data. And I've put this webinar on today to give you a bit more information about Copilot. I think it's quite new to everyone, especially in the AI space. What do you do? What can you do? What can it be used for? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a overview, complete for how I use it, what I use it for in my day-to-day life. So I started my business a few years ago because I was burnt out and stressed out. And I quit my job. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't see what's going on in my role. I'm not effective in what I'm doing. And it was because I couldn't see like the things that were going wrong. I was too busy. I wasn't seeing the quick wins in things. So I started my business to actually help people to find those quick wins. So again, in my role as director of Type on Data, I've gotten busy again. So rather than getting too busy, I've started to have a look for those quick wins. So this is my first webinar. I've never done a webinar on Teams, so I'll apologise now if anything goes wrong or anything doesn't work as expected, but it's first time for everything. So I'm going to record this webinar, and thank you for the love. We're going to record this webinar and I'm going to put it on YouTube afterwards for anyone that hasn't been able to attend, and then I'll share it as well. Back to you all. So let's start with Copilot. So what is Copilot? So Copilot is it's an artificial intelligence agent that's learned basically using all the information that's readily available. It's learned how we speak, it's learned bits of information. It's basically feeding us back all the things that we write into Google and everything into the internet. And Microsoft have thought, oh, I need to get onto this. So it's called ChatGPT. The ChatGPT is the model with all the answers in, and Microsoft's gone, right, we need to put this into our products. So in the product, it's trying to put it into everything. So Word, Excel, PowerPoint, everything that's within Microsoft 365, it's going to put Copilot into. It's still very new, so it's a little bit touch and go sometimes with some of the questions that you ask. It's a little bit, you have to be really particular sometimes with how you ask those questions, but I think it's absolutely fantastic. The other thing is that it's not free. There is a free version, but the version I'm going to show you is not the free version. So I'm not selling it. I'm just saying that I pay for this. This is the model that I pay for. It's £1 a day. So that's it. I just pay £1 a day. So the amount of wins and the time that I save for that £1 a day is massive. So whether or not you would like that in your organisation, you'll be able to see for yourself. So I think that's probably everybody who's going to attend. So I will get started. So I'm going to get started with PowerPoint first. Let's go for PowerPoint. So I'm going to share my screen. I've got two screens because I've got some fear that I'm going to share something I shouldn't, because obviously this is my live organisation that I'm going to be asking questions to. So I'm going to share the PowerPoint first. So I'm not going to stay in PowerPoint, but this is something that I will share for you afterwards. Oh, well, that's useful, isn't it? Da, da, da. Which one is the display? Do you know what? I'm not even going to bother fiddling. Let's just go back into the minute small version. Where are you? There we go. Right, so this is Copilot. It's Copilot's PowerPoint. I'm going to go through what we're going to talk about today. So first things first, I'm going to show you how to use Copilot to improve what you do day to day. I'm going to show you useful hacks within Microsoft to save you time and give you some breathing space and give you the courage to use AI in your day-to-day activities. One thing I haven't mentioned, which I really should, is the reason why I like Copilot over ChatGPT. is because Copilot is within your Microsoft logins. So any information that you're putting into it, depending on whether you've toggled off web and work, which I'll show you later, stays within your infrastructure. So if you're asking it, you know, detailed questions about things in your organization, such as costings, transactions, people, it's going to stay within your infrastructure. It also will only show you things that you've got access to. So say, for example, you're managing a project and the project is confidential and you're asking Copilot these questions about the project, you will get those answers, but other people who don't have access to that space within Microsoft will not get the same answers as you because they will not have access to that information, basically. So that's one of the big reasons why I use Copilot over ChatGPT. ChatGPT is brilliant. It's really effective for general day-to-day things, but anything confidential, Copilot for the win every time. So when you get a license, you activate it on a user and you'll start to see that you'll get these little Copilot buttons showing up. So basically, we're going to click Copilot. Easy peas. It does just show up. Might need a restart, but it starts to show up in all your applications. So it's basically a bit like a chat model. So you are going to start asking it random questions. So one of the questions I asked it yesterday was PowerPoint, what's it used for? And this was the answers that it gave me. So it can be used to populate your PowerPoint. It can be used to ask questions about your PowerPoint. So I can ask it things such as, so let's summarize slide 2. So summarize slide 2. No, let's go for 3 because 3's got the most information on. So it's going to go off, it's going to read everything, and it's going to basically give you an answer for what it's for. So if you think about this in your world, you've not made it to the presentation and you, well, there's what, 13 slides? You haven't got time to read it through. Can you summarize this presentation for me? Can you give me what the key slides are that you think I should look at? So say if it was a financial PowerPoint, it could give you like a summary of basically the financial numbers, what's the most important slides that you need to look at. So it can do all sorts of things like that. The other things that you can do is, and I'm going to do it in a new PowerPoint, is it can create a PowerPoint for you. So we've got this little Copilot button here, but I like to do it in little right-hand window because it can see what I'm doing. So before I started the presentation, I thought I'll have a little look at what events are on in November. So I went for Movember. So I'm going to ask it to create me a slide. So presentation, sorry. Can you create a presentation about Movember? And then away you go. So it's going to go and have a look. It's going to go and have a look on the internet. It's going to get as much information that it can, and it'll start compiling slides for you. Depending on what you ask Copilot, gives different speeds. So yeah, just be mindful that it's going to be working on that. While that's doing that, I'm just going to check nobody else has come in, which they haven't. So we don't need to invite anybody else. So good. Okay. So it's still working on it. Da-da-da. Didn't take this long yesterday. There we go. Right, we've got 13 slides again. Must be the lucky number. Okay, so what it's done is it's compiled all the information about Movember. It's giving you images, it's giving you text. But the only thing with anything, I would say, is check the information. I really hate this photo. This photo came up yesterday, so we're going to just go to a different slide because it's not the best photo. So it goes through on the internet and finds as much information as it can and populates the slides for you, basically. Gives bits of information. So, sorry, so that's what I was saying. So with anything, you need to check your facts. So if we are taught wrong, then we will give the wrong information. So these are just it's just information data that it's been trained with. So just check that it's right. There has been a few instances of people using ChatGPT and some of the statistics and numbers and stuff are wrong. So yes, use it to create the bulk, so to help you with everything that you're doing, but check the information that it's coming back with, basically. What was my other question? So another question. Oh yeah, so you can ask it to create invites as well, so create emails for you. So can you create me a email, sorry, to invite people to my presentation on November. You can give it more information, like it's on Friday the 30th or whatever the date is. But yeah, just go with that. So it'll go through and get a response for you. Just going to see if there's any email templates out there, but mostly it will just come up with it. So there we go. Dun, dun, dun. So it's found all my information there. So it's got my phone number, my landline, it's got my email, and then it's got some bits that I can actually populate in. So I can just copy and paste that into an email. So how much time did that save? Again, I'll read it through just to check. But yeah, so again, time savings. So that's PowerPoint. Oh, the one thing I do need to show you is these little buttons down here. So it's all about inclusion as well. So some people get quite overwhelmed with how things are, how to explain things. So you can actually use the microphone to ask questions. So if your written English isn't that good, or you spelling mistakes, or you're not great at typing, or you're slow, you can use the microphone to actually ask the question for you. There's also other things you can do. You can add plugins in. So that is additional, like they're called copilots. So a copilot, or Copilot, it's called, is something that you've trained. So in your organization, you may be quite specific in the things that you do. So say, for example, you make a product, and part of that product, there are 8 components, and these are the quantities in each component. You can actually create a Copilot that actually understands your information. Really useful for training new people, for having quick answers for new people as well. They can use that to train themselves. You've also got view prompts, and you've got this in all the applications. So you've got create, so prompts to create. So you've got create a presentation from. So that could be a Word document that you've got that basically has a white paper, for example, on a topic. Okay, I'm going to present this next week. So what can I do? Create me a presentation based on this Word file. So that's another thing I can do. Create a presentation about top products, add a slide. You can also add animation, all sorts of things. Understand, so that is to help you understand your information. So can you help me? Can you explain slide 3 to me? Can you oh yeah, so any action items, any key slides, so understand what the actual presentation's about. To edit, so that's where you want to change images, you want to organize it, and then again there's more prompts, and again those will be added to as well. So Copilot is very new, but it is getting added to constantly. And then ask, so that is just how you can improve it. So you could use it for things like, does this make sense to somebody who does not understand XYZ? I can't think of it on the top of my head. So that's PowerPoint. So these are your little things down here. It'll give you little prompts. So call to action, add a personal touch. You can ask it to rewrite it in a more friendly tone. Can you make it more professional? One of the other things that I find a lot with Copilot is it puts Americanisms in. I mean, obviously, but you can actually ask it to only use United Kingdom English, basically. So usually it'll go English brackets American or United States or whatever. You just choose United Kingdom. So yes, I think that's it with PowerPoint. It's got quite a few other things that you can do. It's got some additional bits of designer and things, but I'm going to do another webinar on Microsoft for busy people, so how to use certain applications to just get it out there and get it done. So I won't go through any more. But the next thing I'm going to go through is Word. So let's go for Word now. So we've all seen a job description. So I'm going to use a job description. So this is something that I found really useful. So I was hiring for a project administrator and I wasn't really sure where to start, to be honest. What am I looking for? Who am I looking for? So with documents like this, you can actually start asking it questions. So things like, I am hiring for this role. What interview questions would you ask? So it'll go through now and it'll read through the job, and it'll have a look at what's going on, what you need for the role, and it'll break it down into interview questions for you. Really useful if you're short on time again and you just want to, you know, are you asking the right questions? Are you asking the right questions to have the right person? So it's gone through the experience. So can you provide an example of how you've used Microsoft Office or other office management software? So again, it's got these little what they call like references. So if you click on a reference, it'll show you in the document where it's found that. So again, it's fact checking. So as I said to you before, check what it's saying and check that it's relevant to you. So you can click on any of those and it'll take you through it. So again, you can ask more questions, very similar to the PowerPoint with the prompts, the plugins and the microphone. Other questions you can ask are, so say you are just an administrator and you want to become a project administrator. So you could ask things like, what training would I need to get this role? So then again, it'll read through and it'll come up with what kind of key training you're going to need to do. So this is quite good for organisations that want to hire from within, but they want to put a roadmap on. So succession planning, really important. So again, it's gone through the document and it said what you can do, but you can up that again. So you can then say, okay, in the next 12 months, this is what I want to do. So I want to be in this role in 1 year's time. So you can ask something like, can you create a training plan for 12 months to train me into this role? So you can up that again. So instead of just giving you text, you can say, okay, can you create me a table? Create me a table with this. Sorry if my keyboard's really loud. Can you create me a table with this training plan? Please add a status column and any other column you see fit. So now it's going to go through, create a 12-month training plan, and it's going to put it in a table. So again, it can be something that can be worked through with anyone that you're working with. So there you go, it's putting it all together for you now. So there's your table. So it's put it into months, so split it down. Just seen an Americanism there, so there's a Z in familiarize. So just be mindful, again, of those Americanisms. So it's going to come up with 12 months. You can edit that. So you could go back in and say, oh, actually, I need another column here. I need another column to add in due date or expectation. But again, you can leave it as it is. And you just click copy and you can paste that into your document. Easy peasy. Another thing that's useful is KPIs. So can you set KPIs on this role? So these are key performance indicators. So these are indicators to show whether someone is successful in that role as well. So again, it's going to go through and set key performance indicators just based upon what it thinks or what it's learned through other roles and other KPIs that it's been trained with. So task coordination, so percentage of tasks that have been completed, how the correspondence has been managed. You can take that down again to another level and ask it to put numbers against it. You can create a table with it. Anything you can do in Word, it will do for you. So you can ask it to create you lists. You can ask it to do pretty much anything you can think of. Again, it's constantly being developed, so there are things being added constantly. But again, these are just things that I've looked at. So there's my KPIs. So I think for my job description, I'm pretty much done. What else would I do there? I could do some social media with it. So can you create me a job ad for this? Can you create me a LinkedIn post advertising this job ad? Can you whatever you can think of that can put it, that if the information is in there, it will get it out for you. So the next thing I want to look at is another Word document. It is the copy document from my website. So this is put together by my marketer. This is just the content that's freely available, so there's nothing confidential in here that I'm going to accidentally share. So basically, again, Copilot button on the right, I'm going to start asking questions. So inside this is every single service that I do, everything I do within my business, how we came about, what services, etc., etc. So I'm going to ask something quite simple. So what are the mission and values for Type on Data? So it's going to read through my document and it's going to come back with what mission and values that they think are relevant. So again, from your document and from your company. So I think there's looked somewhere else at this bit of information. There you go, startup questions. So I think that was when I was starting out. 28th of August. So yeah, so that's where it's come. So the mission is to support small and medium businesses by enhancing their processes, using automation, technology and innovation. They aim to provide cost-effective IT expertise to streamline processes, save time and money, and help businesses excel at what they do. So yeah, that's exactly what I do. So we can go a step further here. So one of the things that I'm finding really I want to start selling more of, because I think it's one of my better services, is the PATA. So it's basically an audit of an organization. So I want to start selling this now. So I want to start marketing the PATA. Can you come up with a 3-month marketing plan to do that? So it's going to come up with a 3-month plan now. So it'll say what you need to do. So generate interest. You need to, because I'm not a marketer, this is not my area of expertise, but actually I can use this to actually support me with what I'm trying to do. So for small businesses, this is absolutely fantastic. So there we go. So it's come up with 3 months. Again, it's saying, do you want to dig any deeper? So refine the strategy, add budgets, things like that. So it's gone through and it's basically using its marketing brain. It's saying, okay, you need to create content now. You need to get your blog posts in, your articles. You need to sort your website, do your SEO. So all those things that will actually start to sell the product better. So outreach, so how you're going to actually reach out to these people, and any consultations or follow-up. So the biggest thing with things like this is that because I'm not a marketer, I don't really understand what or who I'm actually aiming at. So you can actually add more information into this. So such as my target market is a business with maybe 10 staff. They've been around for, X number of years, and they have outdated technology or struggling with maybe staff turnover. So you can actually start refining the information that it's coming back to you with and saying, okay, we're going to start targeting these people. What is the best way to reach out to those? Is it email? Is it a newsletter? Is it a message? Is it a box of chocolates in the post? Whatever it is. So Copilot will actually look at information that it's learned and actually give you good advice. Again, you're not a marketer, I'm not a marketer, you may be a marketer, but it's really useful to actually find out better ways to do things so you're not wasting your energy as well. So the next thing that you can do with this is I want to create some socials now. So can you create me 1 month of LinkedIn posts for the patter? Can you include relevant hashtags and suggest images? The aim of the posts is a call to action. So basically, I want people to call me. So the end of the post is a call to action for maybe to use my Calendly actually for people can't spell to use my Calendly to book. So I've said create 1 month LinkedIn post, 1 post per week just for speed because it will take a while if I say one every day. 1 post every week. What kind of how do I want it to sound? So I want it to be quite friendly, so I don't want it to be quite harsh. So can you make the tone friendly? And use language everyone will understand. Everyone will understand. So again, I've given it a lot of information there, so a lot of things for it to think about when it's creating these posts for me. So it should come up with 4 posts now, broken down into well, 1 a week. Is it going to sell me now? Oh, it's got designer. So designer again is another thing from what do you call it? Microsoft's new things that it's got. So designer creates AI generated images. So I've probably given it too much information here. So relevant hashtag, let's just break it down to this and then we'll start refining it more if we need to. Oh, it's because I've put suggest images. I should have said and suggest what images I could use. So that's probably where I've got it. There we go, image suggestion. So it's given me the post, it's given me the hashtags, and it's given me what image that I should use to actually sell that product. Bum, bum, bum. That's my week 4. So a big thing on this now. So you'll start to see this when I mention it. So in this fast-paced world, so people use ChatGPT and other AI models to create their social media for them, and it's just much for muchness. It's just the same. Everyone sounds the same. So whilst I have created 4 posts there, I will never use them. I will copy them into Word probably, and I'll start going through and be like, okay, I don't really ready to take your business to the next level. I don't like that. It doesn't sound like me. I'd use something like how can we improve your business? You know, think because this I know it's probably marketing speak and someone will tell me that it's great, but it just doesn't sound like me, and I like to have everything to sound like me. I don't like a white page, so I can't sit there sometimes and think of something. So I quite like this for the sake of, you know, you're not starting from nothing, but I can start, you know, removing things out and adding things in. The hashtags are based upon what's trending and what's been used before. And then again, it's given me suggestions of what image that I can use. Check for Americanisms as well. And you should also check that if you've got any facts in there, that they are actually relevant and whether they are true. Because again, it's learned from something that, well, you don't know where it's learnt it from. So just checking that it is, what it says it is. I don't really know how I feel about the Z in the hashtag. I would probably change it to an S because I'm not American and I'm not targeting American companies. So that's probably what I'd do there. Let me just go back to check any other questions that I need to ask. Yeah, so I think that's it for the document. What else could I do with it? Probably create blogs with it as well. So can you create a blog based upon what have we got? So failed projects. So things where, organizations have tried to do something themselves and how much it costs having a failed project. So can you write me a blog on that? You could then also say, can you give me several posts to actually share that blog on social media as well? Different platforms have different content as well. So you can actually say, can you create this for Instagram, which would be like a better image and less text? Can you create this for Facebook, which would be quite similar to LinkedIn? You can also ask it for ideas for video content, things like that. You can also ask it for the wonderfulest things. So can you create me a business plan? So can you create me a business plan? Can you create me a business plan for, let's just do that. So it'll come up with like a skeleton. And again, it's not finished. You will come back to it. But if you're like me and you can't do the white page thing, it gives you somewhere to start from. So there you go, executive summary. The other thing you can do, which I absolutely love, so let's find what drives me. I think I'll have to wait for that to finish. Might take a while. We've done executive summary, services. Sorry, I've come out with a cold today, so if I'm snivelling, I apologise. I can stop it, but I want to see where it gets to. So we've got marketing strategy, we've got a financial plan, which is great. Expected returns, we've got a conclusion as well. So I can take this and actually start to flesh it out, put numbers into it, things like that. Brilliant. So the other thing which I really love is I can highlight bits of text. So see here, we've got a little Copilot button. Ask it to rewrite. So you don't have to go all in and do a big document. You can be like, oh, I don't really like this paragraph. Can you help me? So it'll auto rewrite, or you can just make changes to it. So if we go auto rewrite, I'll show you what it does. So it's going to draft and it's going to give you what it looks like now. So it's got 3 versions. So it's got talk about me in the third person. It's got quotes from me, which is great. And I can choose one. So I could say I'm going to insert it below. So there you go. I've added that in, which was here, just in case you didn't see. So this is the other bit that's added in. So my goal is to prevent that from happening. My goal is to mitigate such issues. So it's only put small changes in. So I always insert it below. I don't replace, because I like to just check what I think. Okay. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to undo that because this is still my copy document for my website. So there you go, back to the original. So that's Word. Again, whatever you can think of, it can do. It's got different prompts than the PowerPoint and stuff. So write more confidently. Again, it's inclusive, so it can help you if you are you need sort of further support. One of the things that I'd like to do is to create my own Copilot, excuse me, that would support people with maybe additional needs like dyslexia or things like that, where I could bold certain keywords and things like that. So depending on the type of people you've got in your organization, and if you do have a inclusive organization where you're supporting all these different people, you could create Copilots to actually do that for your HR policies, for your handbook, for your job descriptions, and it's just making the world a little bit more easier for certain people. So that's Word. Fun times with Word. So let's go for Excel now. So Excel is a good one. So what should we do? Let's go for salary information first. I've just found this off the internet. It does not represent any people. If your name is there, it shouldn't be, because I've not written this. And yeah, this is just sample data off the internet. So again, got a little Copilot button. You've got an analyze button as well. So if you go into the data view, there's a I think it's just that one I've just been on actually. You could just analyze the data and it'll give you information. So say you did it on your bank transactions and it'd say, stop eating takeaways. So, it'd look at where you spend your money on, it would look at your income versus, and it would just be a text-based thing. So it's not as in depth of Copilot, but it does have that analyze button without Copilot. Again, I will do a Microsoft for busy people at some point, but let's just keep going with Copilot. So what have we got here now? So we've got a list of employees and we've got a list of annual salaries. The first, apologies. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change that annual salary, and I'm going to say, can you format column G to be currency GBP, just in case it tries to put it in as dollars. Okay, so it's going to have a little look at the information. So Copilot in Excel, or Copilot for me in Excel, is where I'm just asking questions. So whilst it could do things, so it can fix things. So what it's going to do is it's going to put the currency in and it's going to auto fit. So let's do that. So it's going to apply those changes. So yeah, so if you're not great at Excel, this is absolutely brilliant to actually put your words into what you want it to do, which is really important half the time. So other questions you can ask. So who's the best paid? So who is the best paid employee? You can ask other things like, what is the most expensive department? What is the longest tenure? So how long have these people been in the organisation and who's been there the longest? Oh, we've got a cat who's like to join us here. Welcome to the call. She's not happy. Okay. So yeah, so Matthew Wilson's on 75,000 and so is Jennifer Davis. So yeah, same salary. You could edit this, you could create a new sheet, you could start doing your own bit of interrogation with it. It's giving you a table format and it's also giving you the text format. Other thing you could do is, what is the highest paid team? Let's not use team because it's not used in the sheet. So we're going to go for departments. Again, so this is more for people who don't really understand Excel but want to ask questions to the spreadsheet basically. So the IT department is the highest paid, so they've got an average salary of that. So what if we didn't want average salary? We could ask for the total salary, couldn't we? So we could edit that. So again, it's giving you different prompts. You can then ask it to do other things like, can you create a pivot table for each department and their cost. So now it's created the pivot table. It's put everything together, but it hasn't added it yet. So it's here. So I'm going to say add to a new sheet. So I've got a sheet 2 now, I think. I don't think it was already there. Just checking it's finished. There we go. So sheet 2. So there's my pivot table it's created for me. Brilliant. That's exactly what I wanted it to do. So this can be used for things that you want to get quick wins out of. So you've been asked to go to a management meeting. This could be a project of yours and you want to see how much you've actually been spending. You can create, charts, wizards, pivot tables, or by asking questions in here. Next sheet I've got is bank transactions, just because it was different questions, I thought. So again, this is not my bank. This is temporary data that I found on the internet, obviously, because it's multi-millions. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Except we've got a purchase. Wonder what I bought there. So again, Copilot button on the right. And we can start asking questions. So how many days is this? So we've got 20th and 21st of August. So let's ask a specific question. So can you tell me the total commission paid on 20th of August 20? So if you say I've done the date the same way, I've done a spelling mistake as well, so let's see if it finds it. I've done it the date in the way that it's written just to help it out. I think because you've got to remember this is not truly intelligent, it is just using the information to give you answers, basically. So let's see if it catches my spelling mistake. So it's found out all my commission. It's given me a function. It's changed my spelling, which is great. It didn't tell me I've spelt it wrong, but that's okay, because you could maybe train it to do that. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to stick that in here. And I'm going to go commission, and I'm going to put the function in here. And there's the commission paid. I think it's because there's both a withdrawal and a deposit as well. It's probably why it's a bit different. So again, you can insert that into the spreadsheet. You can start asking more questions like how much profit have I made? What's been the most expensive purchase? If this was maybe your bank transactions, you could maybe say how much did I spend on food? How much did I spend on cash out of ATM? So you could start asking it questions about your day-to-day spending as well. You can get it to create you a chart, get it to create you a pivot table. Again, anything that you can think of, it can do. Just be mindful about how you're asking it, and if it doesn't understand what you're asking, maybe change in the way that you're asking it. Okay, so my next bit to show you is email. But let me just go through my email because I've took everything out of my email. And I'm just gonna, a few emails have come in, so I'm going to take them out before I show you my inbox. Okay, so I've sent myself an email here. So I've used my Hotmail, and I've basically had a conversation with myself. So I've used my Hotmail and I've emailed. My business is called Big Ol' Business, and this is what we need. So we're looking for some support. Been in business for over 20 years. We think we have a lot of outdated systems and way of working. We just seem to keep adding staff on when we get busy, and our processes are quite long-winded. Can you help? So I've gone back, and again, we've had a conversation. But if you look at that in your organisation, you may have employees or people on projects with you that are having these really long-winded emails with big chains, and it gets forwarded to you. And they say, I can't deal with this anymore. I need management help, or I need more help. Well, save you having to actually read back through, it gives you this summary option. So it's going to scan the email chain now, and it's going to tell me basically what's happened. So Rianne from Big Ol' Business is seeking support with their outdated technology. You've reassured her about the audit process and provided a brochure with more details. You've mentioned you've got a 6-week lead time, which may suit their 2025 plans. And then Big Ol' Business has replied and said the senior leadership team wants to meet with you in their offices week commencing the 2nd. So things I can do here is I can get it to create me a response. So I can say, can you draft me, or not draft, can you reply to the email from ryansh@hotmail.com. Don't email me. I've got millions of emails in my Hotmail that it's just far too full. That's what happens when you've had an email for your whole life. Can you write to email for ryansh@hotmail.com saying you have the 3rd of December free, free, and are happy to join. No, not happy to join, happy to meet at their offices, your offices, their offices. Let's see what happens. So it's going to draft an email now. So I did this yesterday, and once it replied to the email, and the other time it created a new email. So don't know what's going to happen. So didn't do either today. Or don't support that yet. So they must be fiddling with something. So let's reply in here. And then we're going to see our Copilot button. We're going to draft a Copilot, and we're going to copy this, So different ways. What is it? Different ways to skin a cat, whatever it is. Can you reply to the email? Saying you have the 3rd of December having to generate. Okay. So it's creating a draft now. So hi, Rianne. So again, I've used my own name twice. Helps to keep you confused. Thank you for your message. I'm delighted to hear about that your senior leadership team is eager to discuss things in more detail. I have availability on the 3rd of December and I'll be happy to meet your offices on that day. Please let me know a suitable time and I'll make sure to be there. Looking forward to our meeting. Best regards, Rianne. So I'm going to keep it. So again, that might not seem like a lot of time to you, but if you struggle to get your words right, and is that enough information? Does that sound right? So I find it quite useful to help me draft things. So yeah, so I can send that off. One thing I will say, and again, I'm going to do it on Microsoft for busy people, but I just want to just show you this in email. So general, where does it exist? Hang on. It exists in calendar. So one of the biggest things that I found as a busy person was the times. So what I'd suggest as an organisation is you should shorten your meetings. So I found that I was back to back all day with meetings, and that gets pretty old quickly. And you need a break. You need a comfort break. You need a brew. You need a minute to digest for your next meeting. So there's this option. So it's within calendar, events and invitations, and it's shortened duration for all events. So make this a company policy. This is something that I suggest everybody to do. So shorten the duration. So if it's a half an hour meeting, it's going to be shortened by 5 minutes. So it becomes a 25-minute meeting. If it's an hour, it becomes a 50-minute meeting. And it just gives everybody that 10 minutes just to have that break. And honestly, set that. So every meeting that you send out is a shorter meeting. And you'll find that it will actually benefit you a lot. So that is my outlook. Dun, dun, dun. Ooh, 10 minutes to go. So next we're going to go for Teams now. Again, whistle stop tour. More than happy to go into this in more detail. Oh, we've got a comment. I'll come back to that in a sec. So I did this yesterday. I've recorded it, and I'm going to show you how I use Copilot in my meetings. So, please don't play because I hate seeing myself on camera. Dun, dun, dun. Right, I've not played, thank you. Just while it's loading. See, look at that, I hate looking at myself on camera. So there's a thing that you can do and it transcribes your meetings. So it comes up with a button and it says transcribe, and you do. So it says what language, so American or English, and you transcribe it in your language basically. And you can do this for all your meetings. So this is your note taker. So basically we can recap the meeting. So this is my little Copilot. You've got it here as well, so you can ask it other questions. But this is purely on this video. So these are the key topics, and it's got times about what I spoke about and what it was. So it's gone through. So again, if you haven't had time to go through a meeting and it has been recorded, you can use Copilot to interrogate it. So it's gone through, and there might be things that it doesn't understand, but on the whole, it's quite good. So if you see purpose of the organisation, focusing on preventing burnout, organisational efficiency, etc., etc. We've gone through creating job descriptions, we've generated a business plan, we've used it in Excel. It's spelt the name wrong, but can't have it every way. How it works in email and Teams, and licensing, so like the conclusion-y bit. So this is great because I haven't had to sit here for an hour watching a meeting that I wasn't able to go because I was busy with something else. The next thing that it can do, there isn't any actions for this, but you can list out any actions that came up. What I would suggest is when you are recording a meeting or whatever, is you're very explicit. So you say action. This is an action. and then it will start to learn that that's how you're triggering an action. So you could say something like, this is an action for Rianne to complete by August the 20th. Then it would actually come up with a list of all those things you've done that for. What was the other prompts? Show me parts where. So that would be something that you wanted more detail on. If you do get Copilot, I will share you the meeting and you can go and interrogate the meeting yourselves. So that is that. What else? So we've got so this is my website. I can ask questions. So do you remember earlier when I said it can be work or web? So this is where it searches the internet for answers to the questions. And this is where it just searches your own infrastructure. I'm not going to use that because obviously I do have a lot of customer information on here and I don't want to, what's the word? I don't want to, well, it's confidential, isn't it? So I don't want to show any of that. So I'm going to keep it on web for the minute. So I think that is the whistle stop tour. I'll give you one final little tidbit, and this is my little clock down here. So this is a focus session thing. So this is, I don't know if you're like me and you get quite busy and you just need like 25 minutes just to, or an hour or whatever you need to just knuckle down. So you can start a focus session and it mutes everything on your computer. It mutes all of the noise that comes in, and you can set yourselves tasks that you want to complete for that session. So again, you could set it for that, start the focus session. I find this really useful. There is a Spotify plugin that you can have as well, so you can play like focus music. So that's like really beneficial. So that is a whistle-stop tour of Copilot. So recap quickly, it's an additional license. You will have to buy that license. Comes out at about £330 a year, which is less than £1 a day. That's included that. You have to buy one per person. You also have to buy one per mailbox. So, for example, if you had a mailbox that was a IT at or HR at, and that's the shared mailbox, and you want to use Copilot in that, I think, I'm not 100% sure, but you do have to buy a license specifically for that. The other thing I do need to tell you as well is that there are talks, and I don't know how true they are, I've read a few articles, that they're looking to increase the 365 subscription price, but include Copilot to everybody. So that might come in as well. So there are things changing and different enhancements. So yeah, really beneficial. I hope it's been beneficial for you. I'm going to just have a quick look, see if there's any questions. Please add questions if you've got any. If you want me to have a look at, here we go. Start from the top. Can Copilot turn the Excel table into a chart? Yes, it can. So you can specifically ask it for the type of chart that you want it to do. Got some recording in Excel. Can you ask it multiple questions? For example, summarize in a table on department and salary and their duration with the company. Yes, you can. So I did that when I was doing some different trials. So again, you can ask it multiple requests, but sometimes you might have to ask it one and then ask it the next one. So you'll say, can you summarize the department and salary? There you go. Then you cuts back. Then you ask another question that says, can you sort by the highest department? Thanks, Kat. Welcome. It's Tiggy, by the way. She's a key member of the team. So yeah, so it will take a bit longer, but yeah, you can. But build it up. I think that's the best way. So you haven't waited for a bit for an answer and it hasn't come out as you wanted it to. Any other questions? Any more? Got one more. Can you create a chart from that pivot table if you have time? I always have issues. Oh, okay, let me try it. Got me on the top right. Where's my pivot table? Can you create me a pivot table from this chart? Nope, gone the wrong way, haven't I? Can you create me a chart from this pivot table? And the other thing I just need to mention as well while that's running is you have to pay for the whole year. That's the only thing. Whereas like your other subscriptions, your other licenses, you can pay monthly and then cancel. Whereas Copilot's a one fee all in, so you can't pay monthly, which is not great. Okay, so I couldn't find the range, so we're gonna select it now. So we're gonna select it and we'll try again. Can you create a chart based on the selected? Let's try that. No. Let me have a play with it, Kat, and I'll oh no, sorry, Stephen, apologies. I can get back to you on that one. And then what was that? In an organization with folder structures and SharePoint limitations, trying to aggregate data from various sources. There aren't limits, there's just going to be a time delay, and you have to have access to all those things. So you can do things such as where's Copilot? Let's go in Teams because I quite like it in Teams. Copilot in Teams. So if you put like a backslash in, oh, so you go backslash or right front slash, there you go. So it brings things in so you can actually say what files that you actually want it to show. So it's forward slash, apologies. So you can actually start listing all the files that you want it to go and look at, which is really useful. Any more? Got like 2 minutes to go. Fab. Okay, good stuff. I will put this on YouTube. I will send out the link after this, and if anyone could please give me some feedback, I'll send a feedback link out as well. This is obviously my first webinar, so any tips and hints to make things easier, I would be very grateful. And if you want any help on how to add the licensing, if you want any further support, whatever you need, there is a Calendly link in the email that I've sent, so just book a meeting with me and let's have a chat. And if you've seen anything else that you want, maybe I could show your teams, anything like that, let me know. So appreciate your hour on a Friday. I know everybody is super busy, so appreciate it, and thank you all for coming. Yeah, so I will see you. Well, I'll see you soon. Take care, everybody. Bye.